Hello, I am John Canali Correa, and I'm here with one more podcast for your home buying hacks. It is a great week. It's been sunny here for a few days, and I'm quite happy to be able to show homes this past weekend and looking forward to a great weekend with the kids. It is Father's Day weekend, guys, and I hope you have great plans for everybody. This week's Wednesday episode or podcast show, I do not have a special guest. This time around, I had a last minute cancellation. She called me this morning and said she had an emergency. She couldn't make it today. So I will introduce my guest possibly next week or the weeks that follow, depending on her schedule. And I appreciate it again, you guys tuning in. It's always a good reminder that I am streaming live on Facebook and I'm streaming live on YouTube as well. And I'm hoping that you guys have already subscribed to my channel, John Canali Correa on YouTube. All you got to do is click subscribe, little bell, and then you are going to get to see all my updates, all my new podcasts and videos. And and by the way, I do have an announcement to make. I will be making additional videos aside from my Wednesday and noon shows. I will have additional shows that won't be live, but there will be videos for either training, quick rundowns on home inspections or home buying process or selling their home. So those videos are going to be posted also on YouTube. So that's why it's so important for you to subscribe it, for you to not miss out any of the content that I'm going to put it out there for you. So again, there will be more content added throughout the week in my channel. I'm hoping that I will be able to do this in the next few weeks. Okay, but anyways, guys, I am very excited here to share a couple of things with you. Um, there are some good news coming out. You know, Houston Association of Realtors, they measure May to May as far as transactions and volume of sales and whatnot. So I want to share those things. I'm going to put you in on a shared screen, and I'm going to show you some stats that have been released this morning. And I'm also going to put you into a little bit of a training. So this may not be exactly for the home buyer or for the seller right now. It is a little bit of training for an agent. Okay. However, you as a buyer, you as a seller, is going to find out here really what we do behind the scenes to get to the home value of your home. Okay. The tools I'm going to use today can be used by most of the agents out there. Everybody should have a matrix. It's where the MLS is it's a software for MLS. And everybody should have access in every association. I think Matrix is the predominant tool for the agents. Okay, but I'm going to show you all the tools that I use, and I'm going to try to be as short as possible. I only today have 30 minutes today, and I'm sure some of you are going to appreciate it. I had some comments that said, you know, your videos are too long. I can never watch it all the way through, or I have to come back later. I get it. But when you bring a special guest on it, you don't even look at the time. You know, you really, you know, the purpose here is to have a good time, have a good conversation, and give you as much content as possible. And I do realize 1 hour and 30 minutes, one of them could be a little bit too much sometimes. Okay. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and share a screen with you on that note. And we're going to start with, let's take a look at it here. Let's start with, okay, I got the wrong pages on here. Let's go back here before I share. Okay, number two, this is the whole screen. I want to share only the site here. Okay, there you go. Okay, guys. So if you're seeing this, okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here for you. Maybe it works. Let's take a look at it here. Is this the screen I'm sharing? You know what? This is so difficult to do when you don't have a special guest helping you out. Man, come on. So let me unshare this and be sure that I am doing the right one, okay? Because that's what I want to hear. There you go. Let's just do the screen here, guys. This screen here will be fine. All right, fantastic. Okay, very good. So you should be able to see this right now. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to share with you. There you go. Oh boy, having a hard time over here. Okay, very good. All right, so yeah, this morning report came in. Houston housing blazes its way through uncharted territory in May. So again, like I said, they measure May to May, basically, right? So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown here for you to see what's been happening here since the pandemic, May of 2020, and you can see the total property sales were 7,781 by May of 2020. And then this May, it went up 55.5% since last May. And I'm going to show you some crazy things here too. One thing I like to point out that the active listings, okay, May 2020 were 38,000 as opposed to this year's May 21. As I told you before, we're having shortage of inventory. However, you can see a higher amount of property sales done on a smaller amount of homes being listed on the market. So from May of this year, from May of last year to this year, it went down 40.6% from homes that were active listed on the market. And then here you can see a little bit of the stats. The single family average sales have also gone up 29.7% since May of last year. So it's honestly, the real estate people in the real estate world, it's good news. For those that have not sold their homes, your home has gone up in price. Right now we can find comparisons out there that will likely show a higher price point for your existing home. Isn't that great? It is a good thing. It for some people may be scary because we've seen already a bubble that just burst and then everything went down in the drains and a lot of people got hurt in the process. But this time around, I don't think so. What we're seeing is that we have a lot stronger buyers coming into the marketplace right now. The credits that we're giving out are much more cleaner than it used to be. We don't have the stated income products. There are alternative non-QM products available there, but they're certainly well qualified. And so with that said, if you have good buyers out there, good paying jobs, and quality credit, therefore, will the bubble burst? No, I'm seeing this as a possibility that we're going to continue this trend of increasing prices. And I don't see it stopping for the next year or two, at least. With low interest rates and low inventory, you can see how powerful this can be. The dollar volume was what? It's incredible. It's just incredible what's going on out there. So you can see here the increase going up from 304 to 387 average. But this is interesting here, broken down broken out by housing segment. May sales performed as follow. So from $1 to $100,000, or 99,999, decrease 34.7%. 100,000 to 149,900, decreased 31.5%. 150,000 to 249,000, increased 6.5%. So those are like the amount of homes available out there, the decrease of homes available, and what they're saying also here is that, and this I can say it for myself, there are great homes here between 200 and I'll say 30,000 to 500,000, there are amazing homes you can find here, and newer ones. It doesn't have to be old ones. Okay, there are great homes between that price point. So the 750s, the jumbo homes, right? The jumbo loan homes, the $1 million properties. Um, it's a luxury people really don't need here, to be honest with you. You know, you can have a 5 bedroom game room and media room and all the space your family needs with about $500,000. Yeah. I mean, whoever wants to go to the $1 million range, the $2 million range, you're really seeking luxury. You want to look like you have $1 billion in your bank account, really, you know? And it's not hard to attain. There's good paying jobs in Houston. Yeah. Somebody that makes 7 figures can definitely afford it. But there's a lot of people that make 6 figures that can afford $1 million house. Yeah. I mean, mid 6 figures, right? 500,000 a year, more or less. But anyways, so this is the news for the week. I'm going to jump on right away here in how to do a CMA, a comparison market analysis on your home. Okay. So I got to tell you, so every time, um, you know, we go out there and show a home to a buyer, you know, and the buyer asks, what do you think this house is worth? Or this house is for sale and they're asking X amount of money, you think it's worth. Okay, so not every time, you know, we can say with confidence that yeah, this what they're asking is true. Um, and what they're asking is the right price. Not every time. And for the most part, I don't like it. I like to you know, I like to base my opinion with facts and data. So you know, we here realtors, believe it or not, we become data buffs. And I heard on YouTube the other day this guy saying like he's an investigator and he enjoys investigating and doing comparison market analysis is what's fun about being a real estate agent. I agree with that. I agree. It's actually quite fun, but there's a lot of room for mistakes in there. And for you to get the right one, you need to be able to, well, understand how you appraise a home first, understand the rules of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the guidelines, you know, behind an acceptable appraisal, an acceptable method of opinion of a value. Okay. I'm not going to get into a lot of details here. I think, if anything, I'm going to be more helpful for you, buyer and seller, to understand how it gets done behind the scenes. There is the basic method and there's the advanced method. I'm going to give you the basic method so that, you know, the new agents out there that it's going to appreciate this video, that I know I have a few following me on Facebook that are going to learn a little bit about how to get this thing done right. Okay. Because I got to tell you, everybody has its own way to look at value. Okay. Again, it's an opinion of value. We might use the same tools sometimes, but sometimes we may not use the same tools. Okay. And so you may have a percentage of difference in opinion of value between one agent and the other. And I might have agents that look at my video and say, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I do it better, you know, and I may think the same thing about other agents, the way they do it, but we don't criticize each other that way. We try to make sure there is good faith within one another. We hope that the industry itself and their brokers and the trainers out there is teaching them the right way. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to go back in here and share once again another screen. And what you're going to be looking at is the face of matrix, and it's quite interesting. A lot of information. I will try to certainly be as quick as possible and fast, so you understand what goes on behind the scenes. Okay. So again, go back to what I was saying. Now, I'm out there showing a house, and I am asked if I think the price is right. Well, I'll tell you, hey, hang on a second. What I like to do is let's look at all the homes today. And if you see the one you like, if this is the one you like, what I'll do is I'll go back to my office real quick and I'll run a CMA and try to pull some data and see if the seller has come up with the right price on the market. Okay, so if the realtor representing the seller in that particular case has done the same data, so I like to put myself in the seller's shoes and see why they're asking that price point, and then I'll form my own opinion of value. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share this. I said again, I'm going to share this. Hold on. Why am I so? I think I'm pressed for time right now, and that makes me feel a little bit uneased. Okay, let's see here. All right, so if you're looking at this screen right now, this is the HoustonAssociations.com sponsored matrix software. Okay, so the MLS, the multiple listing system, is ran through matrix right here. So basically, all the homes that goes in the market, okay, in that particular region, in that association area, okay, and this here is Houston's association. HAR. They don't like to be called HAR, by the way. Okay, so HAR.com, sponsors the matrix. So all the homes that goes within this association goes in here. Okay, so whenever you are looking at Zillow, Trulia, Realtors.com, all of those web pages out there are being fed by the MLS. This generates an IDX feed, okay, that these Zillow and Trulia and Realtors.com or Homes.com out there, they pull from, okay? So whatever you see on Zillow, it's not something Zillow came up with. People did not list on Zillow or Trulia or the other ones. They listed here first. Let's get that straight, buyers and sellers, please, okay? And that's why I struggle a lot sometimes with buyers that are using Zillow tools, while HAR and other associations out there have great tools for the consumer. Great tools, sometimes even better than Zillow, better than Trulia, better than Homes.com out there, okay? And they are getting true feed information from MLS, okay? True and accurate, okay? Between the transmission from MLS to Zillow or whatever, there's always room and lag of just not as quick of updating. Okay, nowadays it's a little quicker than it used to be, but sometimes you take like days for whatever changes you made here on the MLS to reflect on every other website out there. Okay, so stick with your local association to look for homes. That's all I got to tell you. Or ask your agent, where does he prefer you to do your own searches on? If unless you want the realtor to do all the search for you, okay? And then if he does, he's going to use this, what you see right now, okay? And hopefully you are seeing it, okay? All things here indicate that you are. Okay, so very good. I'm looking at the matrix MLS. So the first thing I do is, let's say in this instance, a seller asked me, what do you think my home is worth? What should I list it on the market for? It would basically, it's the same thing I would have done if we are thinking about putting an offer in a particular home that's already been listed. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is plug in the address there and look at a history to see how many times that home was sold in the MLS. Okay, now sometimes homes are sold outside of the MLS. In other words, they have never been listed through a representing brokerage. Okay, and they never created agency with any agents, and they sold within their family or to a friend of friend without even having a realtor present. I don't recommend that, but sometimes it happens. And I guess maybe on another podcast I can comment on why I can't stress how much is important for you to have an agent beside you. This sold by owner thing is trouble for you, the seller, and for the buyer. I tell you this. A lot of room for mistakes and lawsuits, guys. Okay, so anyways, going back to the screen here. So I like to look at the history and see what was the history in the marketplace, how many times it was sold, and or at least what was sold last. Okay, so then I'm looking at here, and I see that this home here was purchased in 2011 for $180,000. Okay, but if I go into this report, um, uh, it looks like the house is built in 2008. So the original buyer bought it brand new and sold in 2011 for 180,000. We don't have to go into details here to how much it was sold by the builder. However, sometimes I do like to know what builder built your home, and that is important too. Okay, we are going to be looking at the quality of the build, okay, and how the strength of the community that builder built in it, okay. So very, very important. So we know it's in Canyon Lake subdivision, Canyon Lakes West, and is section 5. So one of maybe the last sections, but the subdivision could have had 10 sections, right? But we're going to look at it in a minute. So it's Canyon Lakes West. Then what I do is I usually go here and then just throw in the tax information next door. I'm going to try to hide the owner's names there real quick. All this is public information anyway, so if you look up this address, you'll be able to find the owner's name anyway. So it's not like I'm breaking any privacy here, guys. I just want to be straight up with you if you're thinking too much. Okay, so anyways, where do I go from here now? So I want to find out what homes are now available in the marketplace that I can use to compare to this one here. So I'm going to attach, and I'm going to go to another screen here, and I'm going to share you my Word. And hope you're seeing my Word here, and I'm going to type a couple things, and hopefully I don't make any mistakes in spelling, because that would look bad, but I do have Word here to protect me. If in case I do, it's going to say it's incorrect. Okay, very good. Okay, so again, this holds true if you need financing. And it holds true if you want to use and respect that guideline if you're buying it cash, okay? But particularly, most homes get sold and they're needed financing, okay? They buy it with a lender's funds, okay? So the lender is going to require an appraisal done. Okay, I'm not an appraiser, nor I'm licensed as an appraiser, but because I am a real estate agent, I am able to give my opinion of value. But I am not using the tools an appraiser is. That's important to understand here. And whatever my opinion of value, what I see, what I give you from the reflection to what I see on the MLS may be different from the appraiser's opinion. Okay. Again, he's got different tools than I do, although I can mimic most of those tools. I don't have them all. Okay. Again, I'm not a licensed appraiser. So therefore, this is literally the opinion of value based on the tools I have and my knowledge of the subdivision and the marketplace. Okay. If I am dealing with a market or a marketplace or a subdivision that I have no knowledge, I would be able to have some sense of the data I'm collecting, but I'm going to lack competency to give you the best opinion of value, okay? Same holds true to appraisers. You might find a licensed appraiser that never appraised that community before, and there is room for mistakes. Fortunately, we can sometimes rebuttal the appraisers or ask for another appraiser's opinion. The same you can do with an agent, right? So if you're listing your home and you don't think your agent's got the price right, just get someone else's opinion, okay? Very easy. Okay, so you're looking at my word here. So banks are looking for the following guidelines. Okay, these are primary guidelines. Um, Comparables, comps, for sure, have to be within the subdivision. I spelled it wrong. Nope, nope, I didn't. There you go. Okay, so comps have to to be within the subdivision. Okay, first, if you can't find homes within that subdivision, let's say no homes were sold in that subdivision prior to yours, then you can go up to 1 mile. There are exceptions to that 1 mile as well, but for the most part, they want to see comps within no more or within a mile. Okay? Um, Again, everything here that I'm giving you have exceptions, but I'm going to give you the basics. And this is the, like, where the bread and butter, this is the café con leche that you want to be looking at. Okay? So homes, if you're going to use a comp, you want to use the most recent comp. Those recent comps are going to reflect the today's market more than a year from now. Okay, a year from now, the market was completely different, right? I mean, I showed it to you earlier, May of 2020. It was a different animal than it is today. So I can, however, use that data to compare what kind of increase percentage we had between 1 year ago to now. But ideally, the lenders are looking for, they're going to stop you where 6 months is the most they want to look backwards. Okay. However, we're going to ignore the 6 month old, okay, listings that closed 6 months ago if we have enough comps to support a value today or more recently. Okay, that will happen. I think an appraisal have room for like several comps, but they really only need at least 3. The lenders are going to require 3 for the most part, but then in some situations, if there is more sales in that community, the underwriters are going to request the appraisers to add 2 additional or 3 additional comps just to make sure you got the right price there. But ideally, we want to stick to 3 for the basis of getting into the price point of opinion, of value, and then so we can go on putting an offer or listing the home for sale. Okay. So within the range of 1 mile, we want to stay in. We want to first stay within the subdivision. We want the homes that are most similar. We want homes that are most similar. Well, homes don't have to look identical, okay? They have to share the same structural features. They got to have similar curb appeal, similar conditions, and offer similar traits, okay? And being in the same subdivision is one of those criteria to being similar, okay? And I'll say this, homes at what I write here, that are most similar. Okay. Now, another thing to look at here is if, let's just say, the subdivision has multiple sections, one is on one side of a highway and the others are one section of the subdivision is on the left side of the highway, and then the other subdivision sections are on the right side of the highway. Well, in this case here, the market may change if you are on the opposite side of the highway, or if you are across a large body of water. The market may be completely different, and it is less than a mile away. Okay. Um, okay. Let's establish that. So large bodies of water, okay, is a no-no. No, let's say may be a different market or across highways. Okay. So these are a little bit of the principles here that we need to follow, kind of basic stuff that you need to know as an agent, or if, for instance, you're the buyer or you're the seller and you are, questioning the agent. But hey, but just on the other side of 95 or on the other side of 290 or the other side of I-10, this same home, same builder sold for X amount of money. Well, it's a different market, different area. Okay. Access to different infrastructure. Okay. Or when it was first built, it was built at a much lower income price, or there is a 10-year difference in how old the home is. Okay. There's all sorts of things you have to look at when collecting data there. Okay. Anyways, let's go back to the MLS here real quick. And my sharing paused. Yes, indeed, it did. Let's go back into the matrix screen. There you go. So here what I'm going to do is copy the address real quick, and I'm going to go to search single family quick. Okay. So there's a lot of ways for you to do this. Okay. And then there's not really a better way or the right way. It's whatever you feel comfortable. Okay. Ultimately, if you're doing it, if you're coming up with the price and it's dead on with someone else's opinion, then whichever you did it, it was the right way. Okay. Whichever way you did it. All right. But anyways, in this particular case here, we want to go ahead and check off active, option pending, pending, continue to show, pending, or sold. Okay. I'm hoping this is clear enough for y'all. I can expand it out to make it a little bit more clear for you. And here's 180 days, so 6 months I mentioned to you. So homes that were sold within 6 months are going to be looked at. Pending means it got under contract, but it's past the option period. Option period here in Texas are usually 5 to 7 days, okay, in which the buyers have the option to do an inspection or further investigate the home and make sure this is the right home for them. And then pending continue to show means that the buyer, the seller is under contract, the home is under contract, but he is willing to allow other agents to continue showing in efforts to maybe picking up a backup offer. Having a backup offer is always a good thing. Okay. It gives the seller a great deal of strength whenever the buyer comes back and tries to renegotiate the contract based on the inspections or whatnot. So having backup offers are good for your home. Okay. So but not all the agents like that continue to show, or the sellers for that matter, because again, you're going to go through how many other days open in the market where people are going to come in and look at your home, and sometimes some sellers do find that a little bit inconvenient. Okay. So it is not very common because also, agents tend to not show those homes. And if the buyers found those homes themselves, the agent may lure them to like not even see it because, hey man, it's already under contract. That could happen. And I don't know if that falls under steering. Okay. I really don't, but you just deal with facts. You say, hey man, look, we can look at it. We can put an offer in it, a backup offer in it, but it's under contract. Will you be wasting your time? Maybe. We don't know. But sometimes you may just lose that opportunity to put your, put your hands on that property. But anyways, that's a different subject there. I don't so much go to withdrawn, expire, terminated, or coming soon. These, in a way, have failed in the market. Withdrawn means, they couldn't even, they just took out of the market. They didn't terminate the contract with their agent, but they took it away the market for whatever reason. Like right now, I have a withdrawn property, and that's withdrawn because the seller decided to have a better impact on the market. So he's remodeling his home. Okay, and we're going to come back in with a little higher price, and for that matter. Okay. Expire means that there was a contract. There was a contract with a listing agent, and the home was just never sold, whether either because there was no offers or because the seller never accepted one. That could happen too. Okay. And terminated means, something happened. The seller was not happy with the listing agent, or the listing agent wasn't happy with the seller. That happens too. Okay. And then he said, you know what, man, forget about it. Let's terminate this. Okay. Coming soon is, we can look at it, but I'll be honest with you. This is a new tab. I have never used it. Okay. I will look into it and see if there's anything that could add to my CMA by using that. Okay. But anyways, a lot of the listing agents or buyer's agents, they're going to put a price point that they think the home is already in. They're going to put the range of square foot, and back on that word sheet that I had there, there were other things that I could have written in there. Okay, where it will better help you determine how similar the home is. Okay, so it is deemed, and this can be contested by some. It is deemed that a home is more similar if it is within at least 400 or 500 square feet from the subject property. Okay, so if we're looking at a home that we're trying to price or give our opinion of value, and our home has 2,000 square feet, but we find comps that are out there and those have 1,000 square feet. Well, for all intents and purposes, in the market, we think those homes are not similar. We may have, in some circumstances, to use that home in some circumstances. Okay. If nothing else is available for you to compare against it, then we'll use that 1,000 square feet difference. Okay. But for the most part, most of the listing agents go ahead and type in here the square footage range that sits at a range of 400 or 500 square feet. I don't like to do that. Some of them, knowing that the subject property is 3 bedrooms, so they're going to put 3 plus in there. Okay. And look for homes that are only 3. What I do like, however, is if I know the home is a 1-story, I like to first focus on only 1 stories for my comparison. I'm not going to compare with 2 stories unless I have to. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm not going to care about the years built. Okay. Because within a new subdivision or an old subdivision, there's only going to be a range of uh, age. Okay, so homes, this subdivision homes were built in 2000, and they were built in 2005, and they were built in 2010. Okay, so that range is okay, and it's easy to adjust. Okay, so I don't find it where it's necessary for you to put years build unless you have to go outside of the subdivision. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to go with just 1 story because I know the home that I looking at is 1 story in Canyon Lakes West. Okay, and let's look at it here. Some information about it. So it says here that the home has 2,596 square feet, and I'm going to look for homes that are, again, within that period there, within that square footage, at least 400 or 500. Let's go back in here. So 1 stories, and I'm going to keep it open. I know this home, the subject property, have 4 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. Okay, I know that. So I'm going to try to stay within that. If I can find comparison homes that are that are similar in that extent, I'm just going to stick with those. There's no reason for me to go to something else if I have enough within that same amount of bedrooms or baths. Okay. So go back in here, and I'm just going to go to map. Some of you may be questioning, why are you not typing in the subdivision? Well, believe it or not, there's a lot of agents that whenever they enter and I said it earlier that we don't like to criticize one another, but this is something I cannot hold it to myself. Okay. I cannot. So a lot of times, and this is for me to help you, new agent, or the experienced agent that has been doing this, sometimes they abbreviate the subdivision. Yes, sometimes they abbreviate the subdivision on there. So you might not find that home if you just type in the subdivision, although there's a little trick on a matrix that I can show you how. But I like to stay like that first. Hope you're seeing this. So that's where the home sits right here. Okay, right over there. This is where the home is. So there's nothing significant that I can say about the home here. Sometimes we're looking at water views, right? If you're sitting in front of a lake, or there's a lake behind you, or whether you are in a cul-de-sac. Okay, what I do see here that this is slightly bigger than these, evenly cut lots here. So it seems like this lot is a little slightly bigger, but not significant enough to make it so where I'm looking for other homes that have the same or large backyard. Although I've been in this home and it's pretty nice backyard, I got to tell you. You see, single story homes, for the most part, take a lot, they're longer homes. Okay, so they take a lot more of your lots. Okay, so therefore you have shorter backyards, as opposed to 2-story homes you build up. Okay, so therefore you have a larger backyard. In this particular case here, it seems like the backyard is quite nice in size, to be honest with you. Okay, but anyway, so let's expand it out here. Look, there's plenty of activities in here. Okay, there's the highway, so we don't have a highway issue, but we do have a major street here, Fry Road. So believe it or not, the market between this side of the road and this side here may be different. These homes here may be a little younger, or a lot younger than this side over here. This may be the last sections, or this may be the last sections. It does seem like this one here has lakes, and this one here have lakes as well. So in other words, there are homes right here, like this one over here, that is looking over the lake. I'm going to try to avoid that one there for a little bit, just because it's got a lake view. Okay, so I don't have to first adjust with it. Okay, so anyway, so I'm here, and right off the bat, I see close enough. There's close enough here, right? So here's what I'm going to do, so you can see my tools. I'm going to put a circle here and go no more than a mile from my property. Okay, in the eyes of some agents, this may be wrong, but this is how I do it. Okay, and all right, so that's the first thing I do. Everything is in there. Then I go back into, you see, like right now, you can go see that you have 85 properties. Okay, 85 properties within this circle. Okay, so if I go into 95, forgive me, 95 properties in that circle. Now, if I go back into the Canyon Lake scenario, let's take a look at it here. Let's prove my point here real quick. Okay, subdivision. I'm going to type in the subdivision name. It went down to 19. Okay, so within that mile, range. There were other subdivisions on there. Okay. So let's go back in this. Look where they are. Okay. Let me go back and delete the shape now. I had cut off a few that are more than a mile, but in the same subdivision. So it's safe to say that subdivision is all here. So let's put this as a range here. Let's use that as a range. But I'm still going to try to focus in here. But let's see something here out of curiosity. Did any agent, so right now I'm showing 22. Did any agent made a boo-boo out of this? Let's see. Then we'll put this asterisk in there and see if that changes. Supposedly, by putting that asterisk, it will give you a wider range of maybe abbreviations, or if somebody went just Canyon Lakes West instead of Canyon Lakes, you know, instead of Canyon Lakes, put West, put just Canyon Lakes or whatnot. Let me see if I'm correct. I don't remember. I don't use this feature much, but let's see if I put it on the front makes any difference. Oh, look at that. So by putting on the front, I actually see less homes available. Okay, let's figure it out why. Let's go back into Canyon Lakes. I'm just going to take that off. And 61 homes now are available in what we thought was already the subdivision. Is that a mistake here, guys? Is that agents that did not put the right subdivision name on there? Could that be? Or this section here is not Canyon Lakes. It's possible. We'll go back in here. I can see these photos are from a builder. And yes, it's not. It's called Mira Mesa. So therefore, I go back in here and I am going to pull my shape. See that? Okay. Is this home in Canyon Lakes West? Yes. And you can see section 12. So this was built 2018, most recent. Remember, our subject is 2018. So I'm going to try to avoid coming back to this one here, unless it's necessary. Okay. Let's stick to what I know is the closest. Okay. So this here probably got built within the range of the subject just a few years later. So it's still similar. This one here has 2,200 square feet. So it is within reason, as similar. It is a single story. It has 4 bedrooms and it's got 3 full bathrooms. And we know it's built by KB Homes. Okay. Well, the subject property was built by Ashton Woods. It could be argued that Ashton Woods are a better builder than KB Homes. That could be a factor. And honestly, you know, the standard package you get on your new homes can be way different, way better. And we don't know how much this people did to their homes to ask for 266, or did they not do anything? And then we'll go look at the conditions to see what it looks like. It's got cabinets, 42 inches. It's got granite, but it's still got carpet and still the builder's grade carpet in there. Have they changed the roof recently? All those things into question here, okay? So therefore, let's see here. Right now, this is a comparison, but it's in a very low end comparison because I believe the subject is in better condition, has newer roof. So let's go in there right here and pull another one to see. This one here is a smaller home. It's missing a bathroom, so there's room for adjustment on this one here. Okay, it's missing a full bathroom, and believe me, it costs you about 20 grand to build a new bathroom, to have a full bathroom built in your home. Now, I don't mean that being necessarily the numbers you use to adjust, but yeah, Okay, I'm going to put it in there just to have it in the market and then tag it for right now. Let's see here. The 400,000. Okay, so this is slightly bigger. It doesn't have it does 2.5, so it might be a 1.5 here by any chance. Maybe I thought I said one story only, but it does have a 2.5 bathroom. That's interesting. It might be a 1.5, guys, and this listing agent just didn't put it as 1.5 for whatever reason. Okay, maybe, but this one over here just recently under contract. Okay, just recently under contract, is missing a bathroom, but it's closed in square footage, and was recently under contract, but not necessarily at 349. They were asking 350, but they likely got it in this marketplace, I'll tell you that, if not more than that. So I'm definitely using this as a comp right here. Let's look at this 270. Much smaller. I'm going to avoid this one for right now. 275, much smaller, although the price point was sold quite high for that matter. 270, 3.2s. This one here, it's close enough square footage wise. I can use. Okay. Nope, I've been in this one before. 282. Okay, too small in my opinion, but I like where it's sold at, so I'm going to put it in there. Okay, damn, too small. Okay, 289, 900, three bedrooms and a half. That's a little bit bigger, half bathroom in there. About, let me confirm, it's 2,500, right? Yep. Okay, 26 to round it off. So yeah, guys, this is a really good comparison right here. Right here. Boom. Okay. So I found one that I like. Now, considering in this market, there's two other ones for sale, and this is still active, available at 299, 900, three bedrooms as opposed to four, but it's got three full bathrooms. It's a little slightly less. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. One here just got listed for 279, 900. Just got under the contract. It's much smaller. Too bad. Can't use that. Too bad. Okay. This one here, too small. Okay. There's another one here for sale. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I kind of can use this one here, but I'm not liking this one very much, to be honest with you. But anyways, let's go back to this side over here. See if across the street we have anything similar. 240, smaller home. 272s. Well, this one has got a pool. Don't want to use that one now right now. This one here, 2200. 2200. We can use this one here, but let's see how old this one is. 2009. So it's pretty much there. We'll use that one. Maybe I'm getting too many comps. Okay, maybe we can shrink it down a little bit later. These are not good. No good. Well, I'm forced to use this one here, just under contract. Maybe got overbid. We don't know what the true number was until it closes. But we can have a slight idea if you know what the market looks like. This one here has a lake view there. I don't want to use that one. And it's got 3-car garage. I don't want to use that one. 310,000. This was sold very well. But it's much newer. So I'm going to avoid that one for now. Although I maybe use that as a comp as well. Okay, guys. This one seems more realistic. Right there. Let's make sure. How old was it? 2015? Not that much older than 2008. Well, if you look at it, maybe 8 years is fine. What means is that, the 2008 likely needs a new roof, right? Although I think it's already been changed. That's what you need to be looking at as well. 309, 900. This one here sold incredibly well. What year is this? 2014. I can definitely use this one. Okay. Now these are here under contract right now, much smaller at 299. So wow, wow. Can I use these as a comparison? I can throw it in there. It's gonna shake up things a little bit. Wow, 299, huh? Okay. See, things are very aggressive out here in this community. Okay, once I feel like I have enough, I compiled enough. These I think are too new of a home. This one looks like it's two-story for whatever reason. It does look like two-story. And it went in as a one-story. And you see mistakes sometimes, you see. Um, that looks like two-story to me, doesn't it? Or it's got, oh, this one has got a garage apartment. That's what is different. I think I got enough. Let's go look back in here, and I'm going to throw in a quick CMA. Hope you've seen this. All right. Okay, let's expand it out a little bit. Okay, so we know here that active listings in that marketplace, you have an average of 295. Okay, at $129.55 per square foot. The average days on the market are 32 days on the market. This one here listed at the lowest price point of that community has been more than 60 days on the 68 days on the market. There may be a reason why. Okay, in this market that we're in today, most homes being sold in 3-4 days, 5 days the most. 68 is a problem. Whether maybe they had the buyers that they accepted earlier failed with their financing, they had to go back into the market, and that may be the reason why you have an asterisk there. So that it's important to look at it as well. So that could be the situation. Now they lower the price point, or they listed back when comps were not strong enough. In this case, maybe suggested to reevaluate this price point based on this one here. This one here had an extra full bathroom, and I believe me, buyers will definitely appreciate that third full bathroom there. Okay, that means your kids are not fighting for a bathroom in the mornings before going to school. Okay, it's quite nice. Okay, and so you likely have 3 suites in this house. How cool is that, right? The lots are pretty much similar. The ages are pretty much similar. So this year, unless there's a problem with the house, this deserves a little bump up in price, man. Look, you see that? Okay. So average 295 of the active homes for sale. So right now, currently, if I were to list this new home, and the home is bigger than Sweet Gardens Court right here, which it is, and if it is in the same or better condition at this point, if I were to price it at the same price per square foot, I would get more. In this case here, the other one is 2,600, so 132.72 times 25.96. I would get $344,000 for the subject property. Okay, if I were to use this active listing again, but this is a home that was listed on the market, and this is what the seller wants for that house. And it holds true that the smaller homes sometimes have a higher price per square foot too, just so that it kind of adjusts as well with the community. So I may not be able to use $132 a square foot to have the right price or opinion or value of this home. Let's look at the ones that were sold or pending first. Pending that got under contract. So under contract, these all have 4 bedrooms, but only 2 full bathrooms. They're similar square footage. They're a little younger homes. This one has a larger lot, but doesn't matter for right now. It's just at this point here is it's going to be like if you had these 2 homes at the same time, which it looks like they did at the same time in the market. Most folks that would likely go to the larger lot if the home Grander Bluff looked similar or better than Sedona Ridge. Okay, obviously they would prefer this one over here, but it's sold in 6 days. at 289, and it was a little bit low, to be honest with you. This is a little weird, to be honest with you. Okay, so let's look at the ones that sold. I'm going to have to reduce the size here a little bit so we can see everything. Okay, so ones that sold, this is where we're going to be looking at the most. So looking at the stable here, where does the home fall into? Uh, Obviously, we want to stay within the average. Max, you'll be using it. Your home stands out of the crowd. It has the best updates on it. It sits in the best location of the community. It's the newer home. It's got the updates that you need. The AC has been replaced. So then we go to the max. But this is a reflection to how far somebody's been able to list and sell a home in that community. And it's averaging right now at 278 at $100 per square foot. It's quite different from these that were recently posted on the market, or not that reasonable. This one here is just listed right there. Okay, just listed. Is the subject property better than this one here? Yes. And I'm going to give you an idea here real quick. So we also have all these other tools, right? I for one like to look at a few other ones, and I look at RPR. It's a tool we're given to realtors. Some realtors don't have access to this. It depends on the association and kind of membership you have. I do have access, and RPR tells me that this home here, based on their algorithm, what they think is the right comparison out there. It's all automated. Okay, they come out here and said this home is worth 315. Does it make sense based on what we're looking at here so far on the homes that were recently listed? Sure it does. Sure it does, because it's better than all these here, because it's 4 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. And it's larger too. So far, so good. Now you go into Zillow, and Zillow's estimate is 330. Okay. All right. And then you go to Remind. There's another tool out there. So I did something wrong here real quick. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to be late, guys, to my next appointment. 343,000. Okay, that's huge. There's a huge difference. So who do you trust? Well, you trust yourself as an agent, okay? And you got to trust your agent too. You know, sometimes you'll be looking at the Sedona place here, and you're looking at the off-market Z estimate. Zillow never walked up into your house. They don't know what you got in there. How dirty is it? Or if it needs paint or fixing, or if there's something broken or the appliances are old. Zillow don't know that. Yeah, he's looking at all the data. But does the data they have the same algorithm, the same guidelines that the lenders are setting forth here for you to value the home the best, to lower the risk? Okay, I don't think so. Remind doesn't either, but they're looking at data. Which one is better? But anyways, at the end of the day, I believe I have already done a CMA on this one. Okay, and I've already picked comps. I've already chose everything I wanted, and I had originally come up with 322,000. Okay, and I'll go back in here and see if what I did today may have been different from a week or two from now. Okay, um, for the most part, you want to look at the most recent sales. You see these here? This one here looks like the most similar home right here. The most similar home. Were the conditions of this home as good? We can look at it. We can certainly look at it. Let's go back in here and look at my list. I'm going to refine here to narrow to the ones I already selected. And which one was that again? That was Tacoma Bluff. Let's go to Tacoma Bluff and we'll look at it. We'll look at the pictures. Ooh, I like the front brick. Does the subject have front brick? I like I like the front glass door, tile everywhere. You got niches on the walls. I like the doors, look really good. This looks like a Lennar home, guys. Look, they usually use these returns on the doors instead of the ceiling of your home. It is a 1.5, so it's got more room upstairs. See, I've avoided. I only said 1 stories. They should have done this as a 1.5. But I understand the agent that does it this way. I understand it. You treat it the 1.5 upstairs as a bonus, no matter what, right? It is four-sided brick, guys. The subject is four-sided brick. It seems all in good condition. It looks really good, you know. So this is a good comparison right here, other than you have game room upstairs, okay? So go back here. This is a good comp, okay? Let's see. Is there anything else that is as good? Okay, so there is this one here, Sedona Ridge, right here, that's sold. It's much smaller. It's a comp, but it's got same amount of rooms, you know, $101 there, okay? So I can go in back into my quick matrix, and I'm going to start cleaning up my thing here, okay? So I'm going to leave this one out. I'm going to keep all of these here except for, let's say, I'm going to deliberately do this, okay? I'm going to deliberately do this. And you see, they relatively sold quick, okay, in this community, okay? So I'm going to take away the smallest ones here. This will obviously get my square footage high enough if I add it in there, but I don't want to make any mistakes here because the appraiser is going to be looking at it the same way. And whenever I throw that at him, he's going to be like, but it's a smaller home, man, a much smaller home. Why did you even use it if you had enough comps elsewhere? You know, so that is the case as well. I'm going to be looking at and taking away, let me see here. Let's look at, man, I feel like keeping everything else. So let's go ahead and do another quick one here. And we'll come to the final average point here. 112 and 22 is what I'm coming up with. Let's see here if this holds true to my previous look and everybody else's at 2,596, I think. I'm almost certain that I'm correct. Yep, 2,596. I came back with 291,000. So this is a huge difference between what I did 2 weeks ago. Could I have manipulated here somehow, something? Sure. If I go in here and that doesn't mean this is the right price of the market. When you look at it, everybody is asking for a much higher price point, guys, and the houses are pretty similar other than that. So if the demand exists and the price points in the market there, why am I going to value this home based on the last 6 months either? I'm going to try to follow the trend here. And if there's a buyer for this community looking at my subject property or your home and looking at these two other available, will he pay more for your subject property is the key here. It's the key here. You have to look at and pay attention that way and not so much pulling back on what the data looks like, because I can easily manipulate the scenario here and go into, like, for instance, and make sure that I eliminate all the low price per square feet properties. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take all the short ones, all the small price points that I don't like. Even this 122, I'm going to get it out of here. Although, yeah, I'm going to take that one out. And I go there and do another quick CMA. Is that number going to change? It did. Went up to $125 a square feet when I took all the variables out. And I simply gave the 3 comps I needed. Okay, look all variables out that I don't need. Now I'm at $125.16 times 25.96. I'm at $324. So it's 3 weeks ago, or that I've last looked at this, it already went up about $2,000 since my last comp scenario. But then again, I used maybe different comps, yeah, when I was in the RPR situation. So I still hold strong. So for right now, guys, I say that this home, I'll tell you right now, this home, which I've been using as subject property, Sedona Run Drive. Okay, let me go back to the matrix here. That sold in 2011 for 180, is now worth $324,000. What a great buy this person did. Would you agree? Would you not agree with this? And then just so you have an idea, this house may be coming in the market here pretty soon. I do have already buyers interested because I've been spreading the word around with my own sphere of influence and my existing buyers. But the photos were terrible, by the way, in 2011. I take much better photos. This is obviously not my listing, but I would prefer to have much better photos. Remember, I said it's all four-sided brick. It had the stone front. You see the stone front. Let's see, 2011, obviously, the house may be different from what it is today. Actually, not four-sided brick. Look, not. It's not. I thought it was. It had carpet in 2011. I don't remember seeing carpet at all in this house. I think they did new floorings since then, since I visited. So it now has wood floorings all throughout. The kitchen has 42-inch cabinet. Man, the photos are terrible, terrible. You see, it doesn't have carpet anymore. But there you are, guys. There you are. And this is how I come up with the sales price. And you are welcome to send me any questions. Ask me how would I approach your home. And that's the truth. There may be different approaches for different types of homes. And only those agents that have had the opportunity and the experience to approach homes different ways in different marketplaces can truly know, not necessarily know better, but have maybe a better experience in giving opinion or value on your home. Sometimes you have maybe a ranch home, or sometimes you have one of those patio homes, or you have a custom home. And all of those different types of homes have a different approach. Okay. This home in Sedona, in Canyon Lakes West, could have been on a acre property. The approach would have been different, right? So those things we're always looking at. Here, I just gave you an example of café con leche, how you should go by making sure if this home was listed for 315,000 on the market right now, and you were the buyer, I would have come back and do exactly what I just did and try to pull the same data or see where they got the data from to support that 315,000 and tell you, look, it's worth it. It's worth it. Go ahead. You like the house? Let's go ahead and put an offer. And this will help you make your better decision how to, come up with your own price that is fair, right? Fair for you and fair for the seller as well, right? I know we're all of us want to pay less than market. Everybody does, but sometimes like market that we're in today, you're just better off in buying what is the fair market value. And sometimes some are seeing fair by even putting a much higher price point than the market value shows, just because there's so much high demand. And you got to look at it in 5, 10 years time that you're in that home, that extra 5,000 or 10,000 you paid a seller, although you didn't want to, it's just all worth it. It means that you were able to get the home you wanted. Okay, that's the bottom line, guys. Okay, and then look, the price is going to catch up. You know, remember, 2011, this seller was a buyer, and she bought it for 180,000. And I think she bought it really well. It was probably a foreclosure, to be honest with you. I don't think in that community the homes were ever under $200,000, and that's because I know the community well. So they bought it as foreclosure. They bought it really well. So that may be an opportunity for you sometimes to look into foreclosure options as well, if you want to come out as a winner like they did. Okay. But then it's not always the case. Right now, I know that there isn't any foreclosures available within this market area that we're in just now. So you're going to have to stick to the market value and likely be overbid by someone else. And therefore have to put more money if you want the house, if you truly want that house. Otherwise, we move on to the next and try again. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I am late for my next appointment, and I appreciate it. I love staying with you. And I hope you have some questions added into this video. Again, go back into my YouTube channel and subscribe it if you'd like to continue seeing more. I am here to assist you. I'm here to be open for your consultations. And again, please, I can't invite everybody, and I've been inviting a lot of people. Please reach out to me if you want to be in this video with me as a special guest. I would love to know more about you. I would love to, spread the word of any knowledge that you can share, and maybe I help you also answer some questions live and in the effort to helping others. Okay, so thank you as we go. I really appreciate your time, and once again, thank you for tuning in.